There's nothing like being back on UK soil, getting my head down, and get back in routine and regimen. And that's how I like living my lifestyle in a regiment format. And focus on what I've got ahead of me, really.
You can see he's massive, he's in shape, he's going to be a real challenge, and it's something different for me. Look, I'm used to boxing boxers and boxing the head off somebody.
You know, unfortunately, it was a terrible accident, tragic injury, and you know, he'll take a little bit of time to recover physically. I think more will come out on that when Anthony's prepared to share it.
Anthony Joshua has made a statement concerning his career, and this is what he had to say. He said, quote, he said, "I can't stop now. I've got to keep going until I reach my destination. I'm targeting Tyson."
There is a particular weight that comes with returning home. Back on UK soil, Anthony Joshua retreats into routine, not as comfort, but as necessity. Discipline becomes structure. Structure becomes control. In a life shaped by noise, expectation, and consequence, routine is the one place where the mind can settle. Training is no longer just preparation for a fight. It is a way of organizing thought, of narrowing focus, of placing distance between what has already happened and what still lies ahead. Across from him stands a physical reality that cannot be ignored. His opponent is large, well-conditioned, visibly ready. This is not the kind of challenge that can be rushed or dismissed. It demands patience, calculation, restraint. Joshua has spent much of his career breaking opponents down with precision, relying on control rather than chaos. This moment asks something different. It asks whether experience can still outweigh unpredictability. Hovering in the background is an absence that speaks louder than words. A serious accident, a traumatic injury, the kind of event that forces time to slow, that interrupts momentum without warning. Recovery, in moments like these, is never only about the body. It reshapes perspective. It introduces doubt, reflection, and a quiet reckoning with fragility. Details remain withheld, not out of secrecy, but out of respect for timing. Some things surface only when a person is ready to carry them aloud. When Joshua speaks about his career now, there is no bravado, no exaggeration, just resolve. "I can't stop now," he says. "I've got to keep going until I reach my destination. And then, plainly, I'm targeting Tyson." The words are direct, but the meaning is layered. This is not a chase fueled by anger. It is a decision shaped by years, by expectation, by unfinished business. A choice made with full awareness of the cost. The press conference that followed was tense, not because of raised voices, but because of what hung in the air. Joshua confronted Tyson Fury openly. There was no theatrics, only presence. Fury felt it. The room felt it. The silence between exchanges carried as much weight as the words themselves. This was not promotion. It was positioning. Fabio Wardley, standing nearby, did not retreat into the background. He spoke with certainty, with the confidence of someone who believes opportunity belongs to the bold. His posture, his stare, his refusal to defer signaled something important. The narrative was no longer singular. The hierarchy was no longer assumed. Another name had stepped forward, and with it, another complication. What unfolded was not chaos, but exposure. Intentions surfaced. Lines were drawn without being announced. This was not about excitement. It was about pressure. About who is willing to stand still under scrutiny. About who believes they still belong at the center of the conversation. This moment is larger than a single fight. It is about endurance. About how long ambition survives after loss. About what remains when certainty fades. In heavyweight boxing, power matters, but so does memory, so does hesitation, so does the quiet understanding that legacy is not built in moments of noise, but in the decisions made when the room finally goes silent. Joshua speaks quietly of strategy, of patience. "We won't engage too early, or too often," he admits, almost as if rehearsing a measured approach not just in the ring, but in life itself. Yet beneath that restraint is a certainty, an unspoken promise. He will find his opponent. Time, space, and endurance are his tools. There is only so long one can evade confrontation. Eventually, movement must end. And in that moment, confrontation is inevitable. He will meet it. He will stand. Eddie Hearn frames it plainly. This is the fight the world has been waiting for. Beyond the spectacle, beyond headlines, this is the encounter that defines a division. Anthony Joshua has prepared. Fury cannot ignore the presence of a man who has rebuilt, who has returned with focus and intent. Hearn's words are not mere hype, they underscore anticipation that has quietly, insistently, been building. The significance of Joshua's return is not simply physical. It is mental, spiritual, a testament to endurance. In the wake of tragedy, in the silence of absence, he has confronted fear, grief, and uncertainty. He steps back into the gym, into the press, into expectation, unshaken. That presence, measured yet intense, marks him as formidable not only for what he can do, but for what he has survived. Confidence radiates without needing to be broadcast. It is there in posture, in gaze, in the quiet weight of a man who knows loss and carries it forward. The world takes notice. Questions about his mental and emotional state persist, understandably, given the events he endured. Yet observation reveals more than speculation. Sadness is present, grief is real, but so is resolve. Spencer Oliver frames it plainly. Joshua has set his eyes on the ultimate challenge. Not just any opponent, but Tyson Fury. Rumors of other names, Arkelon Mamedov, a rising contender, circulate, but none diminish the focus Joshua carries. His combination of power, technique, and relentless determination positions him as a formidable adversary for anyone who steps into the ring. The stakes of the division, already high, grow even higher. Simon Jordan observes the heart of the matter. Joshua possesses the physical tools, but the real uncertainty lies within. After time away, after adversity, will he still summon the hunger and intensity that defined his peak? Boxing is never simply skill. It demands fire, desire, the capacity to endure under pressure. Fans recognize that, sensing that if Joshua channels focus and anger in equal measure, Fury's defenses may be tested in ways that have not yet been seen. This is not a conventional fight. It is a statement, a comeback, a confrontation with history and self alike. Physical preparation will serve him, of course, but the deeper battle is internal. It is about resilience, about the unspoken pressures that weigh on those who carry expectation, who fight not only opponents, but circumstance. In this arena, to endure is to declare presence, and Joshua's presence now commands attention in every dimension. At its core, the question is simple: does the pursuit of victory still hold the power to draw him back into the ring? For Anthony Joshua, the answer is not immediate, not guaranteed. Each decision carries consequence, and each preparation tests more than strength or skill, it tests resolve. Eddie Hearn describes the challenge with measured clarity. Dealing with Tyson Fury is like trying to read smoke. One day it appears tangible, decisive, the next, elusive, shifting, uncertain. That uncertainty is exactly why Joshua's team does not chase illusions. Focus, preparation, and control are the only certainties available in a landscape dominated as much by negotiation as by combat. Fury's silences, his delays, his inconsistent when the time comes, agreements will surface. Either Fury will commit, or the world will see who has truly been ready all along. Until then, guessing proves futile. One cannot read intentions with confidence, nor predict strategy from silence. Perhaps Fury has reached a limit. Perhaps this is strategy, a subtle game. Joshua, for his part, must concern himself with what he can control. In weeks, he will return to camp. Plans will be reviewed. Decisions will be made. But for now, all that matters is readiness, focus, and quiet persistence. Frank Warren cuts through the noise with measured authority. Training alone does not create a fight. Agreements do. Activity signals intent, but intent without commitment remains hollow. The machinery of boxing, numbers, clauses, guarantees, moves independently of the passions and anxieties that grip fans. Until those elements align, the world only sees words. The gap between desire and action is tangible, and frustration is inevitable. The fight seems near, yet it remains just out of reach. When terms are finally set, all pretense fades. Both sides will be judged not by statements or interviews, but by their actions in the ring. Until then, the structure of the sport, the contracts, the schedules, the strategy, dictates the pace. Joshua's readiness, his intent, is clear, but clarity alone does not compel action. Duke McKenzie offers perspective that cuts deeper than rhetoric. He does not attack personalities, he examines legacies. In doing so, he questions whether popularity has overtaken rigorous evaluation in assessing greatness. Wins alone tell an incomplete story. Context matters. Resumes, records, histories, they reveal truths that headlines cannot. Defeating an opponent may impress in the moment, but it does not rewrite history, nor does it erase the quiet judgments of time. Legends are measured not by moments, but by the depth of their achievements, the dangers they have faced, and their dominance over the most formidable opponents. In modern boxing, the standards have shifted. Loudness, undefeated records, or entertainment value no longer suffice to define greatness. Moments can be celebrated, but true evaluation demands context, a careful reading of history and performance. Until accomplishments match reputation, the conversation remains unresolved. Tyson Fury commands attention, and he has his supporters. Yet admiration alone does not constitute legacy. His record, when examined against the benchmarks of history, leaves questions. Victories over certain opponents do not automatically confer greatness. In this light, even notable wins, such as over Fabio Wardley, do not, by themselves, rewrite the narrative. Wardley, however, carries a different energy. His conviction is immediate, palpable. Youth, freshness, and ambition are his weapons, tools that challenge established hierarchies. Where others see caution or fear, he perceives opportunity. In articulating his confidence, he shifts the dynamic. The hunter becomes the hunted. His words are not empty bravado, they are the projection of a challenger who visualizes outcomes before the bell even rings. "I can get to him," Wardley asserts. "I can get Fury out of there." There is no hesitation, no apology in the statement, only certainty. It is the assertion of a fighter who measures risk, studies openings, and prepares to exploit them. Karl Frock frames a broader question, one that lingers quietly behind every headline. Why step away when the defining challenge of an era remains unresolved? This is not nostalgia, it is unfinished business. The confrontation between Joshua and Fury is more than a fight, it is a chapter in British boxing, a test of legacy, pride, and history. To retreat in the face of opportunity is to let that chapter remain incomplete. Tony Bellew observes the unforgiving calculus of timing at the elite level. To emerge from one battle and enter another immediately carries its own dangers. Yet the cost of hesitation may be higher still. In the silence between statements, in the pauses between announcements, the truth of commitment reveals itself. Legacy, once deferred, cannot be reclaimed. Emerging from a grueling training camp, stepping immediately back into the uncertainty of the sport is rarely a straightforward choice. Yet hesitation carries its own cost. Fury has long mastered this dynamic, shaping the rhythm of opportunity, forcing others to move on his schedule. To refuse is to risk the loss of a moment that may never return. To accept too soon is to step in unprepared. This tension, this ambiguity, breeds doubt that the fight, in truth, will ever materialize. Tony Bellew's observations reveal a subtle fatigue with the constant oscillation, announcements, retreats, dramatic pauses. Fans have witnessed this pattern before, bold declarations dissolving into silence. In boxing, credibility is fragile, a form of currency. Repeat false alarms erode it quietly but irreversibly, leaving spectators unsure whether the bell will ever toll. Joshua himself, having just completed an intense camp, must weigh readiness against timing. The question is not only physical, but strategic. When the call comes, will the opportunity align with preparation, or will it slip through grasped hands? Gareth Davies frames it in stark terms. The line between strategy and confusion has blurred. Long layoffs, sudden retirements, quiet negotiations, these forces all conspire to unsettle momentum. The sport does not reward caution, and the clock moves regardless. Behind closed doors, plans may be unfolding, but public uncertainty grows with every reversal. Schedules shift, timelines dissolve. Until gloves are laced and dates confirmed, every claim of a comeback remains provisional, suspended between possibility and promise. The path forward is clear yet tentative. A tune-up fight may arrive, and Anthony Joshua could be the first to step into that space before Alexander Usyk. But even these details are layered with nuance. Time away from the ring is rarely simple. 6-7 months of inactivity can alter perception as much as capacity. Retirement, even partial, changes the calculus of readiness. Johnny Nelson provides a tempered perspective, balancing realism with cautious optimism. He acknowledges vulnerability while maintaining confidence in disciplined preparation. Boxing does not operate on repetition alone. One successful shot does not ensure a sequel. Experience, adjustments, and mental resilience shape outcomes. In this calculus, consistency outweighs raw power. Execution under pressure, composure in critical moments, these define the difference between theory and reality. Timing, control, and strategic clarity remain decisive, far beyond the impact of a single blow. Nelson approaches the sport with measured respect, rather than indulgence in hype. While others chase narratives and headlines, he considers probability, discipline, and the structure that underpins success. Fans may debate endlessly, yet in the ring, preparation and composure often outweigh chaos and instinct. If this matchup were to unfold, it would not be shaped by memory or reputation alone. It would be defined by adaptation, by who can respond under the most acute pressure. Fighters like Tat, like Dylan White, remind the world that unpredictability is ever present, one moment a threat, the next, a calculated opportunity. Even the most familiar strategies can